I mean, there's a Nicolas Cage movie where his character goes crazy?
It's just a color. But it burns.
Can you believe me now?
I don't know what I believe anymore.
Hi, welcome to the Underhold. This is going to be our discussion on The Color Out of Space. And we did a trailer reaction on this already. We're big Lovecraft fans. We're big Nicolas Cage fans. We're going to start off with like a synopsis, some extra stuff, review, and then we're going to go into spoilers. Most of this will be spoilers, but we'll wait until a moment to be able to warn about that.
And as I guess for a lead up for the warning, this is based on probably one of HP Lovecraft's most famous short stories. It's super faithful. So if you didn't read this probably almost 100-year-old story by now,
yeah, it would be.
You're going to be really spoiled as we get into this, because the movie, it starts a little bit slow, but then it just steamrolls right into the story, and then
there's already been a ton of adaptations of this too.
Yeah, there's I think at least 2 that I can think of off the top of my head. We had the Creepshow version with Stephen King getting all moss-manned out and blowing his head off with the shotty. And then you got
Keep your eye out for a Creepshow review, by the way.
Yeah, our Creepshow review, that's coming up. Yeah. If you haven't seen it yet, pick up your Shudder subscription now, because it is good. But yeah, the second version of The Color Out of Space that I've seen, I'm sure there's a couple more. We'll probably throw the poster up right here. But it's The Curse, starring Will Wheaton. Oh. And that movie stinks. They get a couple of things right as far as the story, but it's not very faithful other than that to the Lovecraft story.
Okay.
This...
Well, there was also one, so we're in the Pacific Northwest, and there's the HP Lovecraft Film Festival every year. Ah. I saw a film festival version of it.
Oh, really?
It was like a half-hour long.
Well, that was like student films, right?
Basically. Yeah, basically. That's what they were, at least back in the day.
To the Lovecraft Festival. Get some... Yeah. Unless they got coronavirus, who knows? I think that shit happens
that's
October now.
September, October is when they do the festival. It's not going to be affected unless the apocalypse happens.
They should have had it in March. I mean, this is... You know, H.P. Lovecraft did die, I think, I want to say the 15th of March. Not this year, you know, way back in the 30s. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just one of those times where Lovecraft fans and aficionados come out. And I'll tell you what, this is the movie that they've been waiting for.
And this should be hitting, like, streaming services right now.
Oh, yeah. You can pick this up on Amazon for $3.99. I think Vudu... Amazon Prime, all of those.
And everybody in quarantine right now, you know, you're looking for stuff to watch.
Yeah, watch
this. Keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. Because, you know, we saw it made, what, $1 million, not even?
It just barely made $1 million.
Got some awards, but didn't make any money, so.
Yeah, it's currently trending on Rotten Tomatoes in the 80%. I mean, we could probably hit the exact numbers.
It's 80-80, not even just critics or just...
Yeah, I'm talking critics scores like 80-something and audience scores like 80-something. When have you seen, like, that kind of merging?
Yeah. So not as good of an audience score as I Still Believe, but a way better critic score than I Still Believe.
Well, you know, there's a lot of believers out there. I don't even know. Does he still make music? God, he looked like a child molester the last time I seen him. So we start.
He looks like a child molester would molest himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure somebody has said that.
Yeah.
But, oh my God, he looks like he drives an El Camino. You know, like one that has got a Tasmanian devil just hanging from the fucking mirror. When did Taz become the meth mascot?
Oh God!
Someone tell us below, because I'm
2005 actually.
Who was the old meth mascot? Speedy Gonzalez before the racial stuff? I don't know. But yeah, let's jump right into this. Color Out of Space. It's directed by Richard Stanley. Yeah. Now, Richard Stanley, if you don't have a lot of film knowledge of this cat, broke his way onto the scene, I think, with Hardware, way back in the 90s. Okay. And one of the things that might even be late 80s. We'll know for sure here in a second. But I'd never forgotten this movie. I got took to it by my friend Nick Wright. I think he's alive still. I haven't seen him in a few years. If you're alive, Nick, give us a like. And his dad took us to the movie. So it's Nick's dad, Nick, me, and these 2 old ladies sitting right next to me. I'm talking geriatric old ladies. And Hardwired's got some hardcore stuff in it. It's like some good blowjob scenes that a youngster such as myself.
I feel like I've watched it, but for some reason in my brain I keep thinking it's that one movie with the motorcycle cyborg.
No.
I know the box cover art.
Yeah, it's essentially it's a wasteland type movie chick brings home a broken
I'm gonna go get my coffee too, but we're not gonna break filming.
Yeah, and this old broken robot, she kind of starts it back up, and it's a war machine from the previous wars. So it basically holds her and her boyfriend hostage in the apartment, kills her boyfriend off pretty quick in the movie. She has to, fucking hardcore woman destroy him, because we've had hardcore women action heroes forever.
Yeah.
Anyhow, not to slide off, but Richard Stanley.
And there's even current ones right now, like The Assignment.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely check it out. Michelle Rodriguez, Sigourney Weaver. Ooh, that looks terribly exciting.
Problematic.
Yeah, you'll know when we put our problematic review up for that. If we're not canceled by then, this coronavirus.
It actually looks like it's gonna be great though. That's
it looks really great. Walter Hill directed that. But before we get suicide-lined, because that's definitely what we do here on the Underhold.
Yeah.
Richard Stanley, after doing this movie, got hired to do The Island of Dr. Moreau. But you're not gonna find his name on that shit, because he went balls nuts out in the jungle. Him and Val Kilmer got into so many fights that Richard Stanley literally ran away into the jungle for months and months, secretly coming back to play Beastmen on the show.
Yeah, that's right. He was like secretly on the set.
Yeah, so, and they were constantly security, make sure Richard Stanley didn't come back in. And this fool just into the Amazon, Like, he did way too much, like, I think it was mescaline or something like that.
Adrenochrome.
But, yeah, adrenochrome, probably from that little guy that Marlon Brando was bringing around all the time. Just stick a little syringe in the back of that pygmy's neck. Just stick it out. But, after that debacle, Richard Stanley gone from this movie-making universe for a long time.
And there's a famous documentary, I think, on the Dr. Moreau weirdness.
Yeah, there is, actually, that's right. I'm forgetting the name offhand, but Richard Stanley's got to be in the title.
We can always add stuff. So.
Yeah, it's probably right here now. I was like, look at you idiots. Yeah. But yeah, Richard Stanley, just a very creative, distinct voice that we were denied for this last 20 years because of Val Kilmer. So, suck it, Val Kilmer. I'm sorry about your throat cancer. Anyhow, after they pulled him out of obscurity.
He's Bluntman now.
Bluntman? Oh, that's right. See our last review. Yeah. But Elijah Wood and some other guys from his little production company went into the jungles to find Richard Stanley.
Which right now, I would say, look up Elijah Wood produced movies. They're all solid.
If you're a fan, if you mean you Lord of the Rings kids out there, support your boy. Go out here and get his flicks, man.
Yeah. Good taste.
Got a little airplane flying by. It's probably Dominic from Fast and Furious.
He's coming
also
back.
from our last review. And so yeah, they get Richard Stanley out here, and their goal here to make this film was, we want the most true Lovecraft film, because it's been impossible to really translate. You got stuff out there like From Beyond, which is great, but it's really, most people remember the guy holding the head making eat out the lady. Or Reanimator, which that's the first
one.
Dong.
That was the one with the
Was it
head.
the head? Okay,
but From Beyond,
Beyond has
same
the other thing,
people.
right?
Yeah.
And that was the first Dong I ever saw in a movie. It was Reanimator.
Was that Arnold Schwarzenegger's stunt double?
Maybe. It's like one of the first zombies he reanimated. He's like breaks off the
Schwarzenegger's stunt double from
gurneys and he's just Dong flapping. I'm like, damn.
If you ever happen to actually get Reanimator, audio commentary is great. Listen to that. It's awesome.
Loving hearing those stuff behind the scenes. Yeah. This, I would like to buy this film just for an audio commentary possibility. I did watch some of the special features when I rented it, mainly the behind the scenes, but I don't remember if they had a commentary. If not, Elijah, I'm sorry if you have to spend any more money on this movie. It hasn't really broken even yet. Yeah. So kids, help your boy.
So what's a general synopsis of the story?
To give you an overall idea of what the Color Out of Space is a meteor crash lands onto a farm or property. As they go out to investigate this meteor, it's giving off a strange color, something that's unearthly, like something they've never seen before. We definitely have that color now in our spectrum of colors out there. Yeah. I'm sure Lady Gaga has an outfit that has the exact color in it, but. So in the film, it's very similar. There's a different kind of opening, but the overall film or story synopsis would be this meteor that crashes contains this alien life form, which to our human understanding, it's beyond it, because it's just a weird color that came from space. And the film does the film version does such a great job of depicting this color. The sinister aspect, the malevolence that it has, that midway through the movie you do start to worry about the color, and you see things of color. I mean, the characters begin making those almost horror movie tropey decisions, but that's because the color is literally warping their minds. And you got the Cage in this, so Nicolas Cage, the one true God, you figure he's going to start raging out really fast, over the top.
For being over the top all the time. Cause like I just watched Mom and Dad, and I do like Mom and Dad, by the way, but there was no change in his character. He just started out crazy, and some moments it wasn't perfect, some moments it helped the film, but he was just so over the top the whole time. There's not a change. Yeah. But this one is
this one I think is a lot different, different for Cage, because he's so subdued. Like, at least in the beginning. I'm not going to say you're not going to get like A-grade Cage rage out of this. You're definitely going to get that. But in the very beginning, it's like he's subdued. He's a kid, or not kid, but he's taken over his father's property. There's a little bit of animosity from that, because you see he's trying to live up to maybe his father's potential, or his idea of what that was. He's got his wife in the film, which great time for the...
Oh, he does?
He has a wife in the movie who I'm forgetting the actress's name offhand, but she's very famous. Well, I wouldn't say very famous, but she's done a lot of stuff. Jolie Richardson.
Jolie Richardson?
Yeah, so if you click on that, you're gonna we can bring up one of her most famous films. But so his wife's played by Jolie Richardson, who she also does a fantastic job. And you get the idea that Cage is maybe retired from what he used to do, because I don't think his job is very explained. He might even be an unemployed character at this point. But the wife is like a stock trader or something like that. So she's constantly upstairs on the internet, like doing her stocks.
Businessy.
But it's not focused on enough. It's just enough to you get that idea that there's a family dynamic going on. And they got 3 children in the movie. And the 3 kids got a very Lovecrafty named Lavina, right, who's played by Madeline Arthur. And then they've got the older son's kind of the pothead. That's Elliot Knight. No, that's not Elliot. Elliot Knight plays the Charles Dexter Wardish character. He's got that Howard Ward or Charles Ward or something. That Lovecraftian name. He shows up first scene. He's wearing the Miskatonic University shirt. So there's talks about that. You know, he's out of Arkham. So they're giving us those little cookies for our member berries of our Lovecraft fandom, but it's not focused so much on to that point where it's, oh, let's go to Lovecraft Lane or something stupid like that where they do in movies. Because I've seen that too much. You know, like, oh, it's the Tom Savini house. Right? And who else in this? Brendan Myers, the older sibling. He plays the pothead. It's kind of, they even say, where's your brother off smoking dope in the bar and he needs to feed these llamas. And llamas? Why we got llamas? It's the meat of the future. So there's that kind of...
They keep it contemporary.
So there's it's definitely, it's contemporary, not set back in the 30s or the late 20s like the original story. And then you got the son, Julian.
Except for the names. The names aren't so contemporary.
Now Julian, this cat, he's recently been in something. He's like one of them cute little kids. You know, that cute little kid's got the glasses and he's adorable. What was he recently in here?
Haunting of Hill House, The Conjuring.
That's where I remember seeing him from. He's in The Haunting of Hill House, which he does a great job in that. So, and he in the special feature said this was his favorite movie he ever made. Ooh. So the atmosphere on the set was great.
It's supposed to be pretty fun being around Nicolas Cage, unless you're a major serious actor. There was a moment I saw a thing of Selma Blair looking kind of annoyed by Nicolas Cage during their promotion of Mom and Dad.
No, I can see it. Because there's probably like, you play this, kind of crazy character, and he's just showing up with wearing a dinosaur skull or something.
Basically, he was like a cowboy hat, this crazy outfit, these like 5 huge skull rings. Everybody else is just wearing
I just want to smell Nicolas Cage one of these days, because I imagine it smells exactly like cocaine. Like, the best cocaine. Probably just like his. Not that I would know what that smells like. Disclaimer, whatnot, for our COPA things or compliances.
Cesta, Mesta,
yeah, all that jacked up shit. So they got the 3
not
kids.
For kids.
Yeah, and the color out of space is definitely rated R. So, and there's reasons for it. We don't have any kind of nudity, no gratuity. I wouldn't even say there's a lot of profanity until the color begins affecting them. So in the film version, we've got the family set up. I like the older brother, even though he's a little stereotypical, and the younger brother just fills that cute role. Okay. And to do little spooky stuff later, like, I can hear the well talking to me, the voices in the well. So, cute kids doing spooky shit, it's kind of spooky. Yeah. But then the daughter, Lavina, this is where I kind of don't like part of the movie. She is there with, they introduce her doing a ritual out in the jungle, or out in the,
so river. Like immediately you're like, something's going on with her.
Immediately, yeah. She's holding that old Simon's version of the Necronomicon, you know, the one you could buy at fucking like Palace for $6.
Oh, is it really the literal
paperback
one?
And everything?
Oh,
yeah, it's the literal
funny.
one.
That's
so
funny.
she's all doing rituals out of that shit, and she's got like tattoos that are all pentagrammy, and she's out there wishing for her dad to be better or something like that. So, oh, he's happy. But she's there, my opinion, just to make an occult link.
Okay.
Just for an occult link. No other reason. Because throughout the whole movie, when everyone's trying to do rational shit, she's like, I know, I'm going upstairs and make a pentagram and do a ritual in the bedroom. And you're like, what? She doesn't even come off like that kind of character. She just looks like someone who did way too much dope. And they found her like on the streets in Portugal somewhere where this was filmed. And they went, hey, Richard Stanley needs some pussy for this, so we're going to have to get in there and make this movie happen. I'm just kidding. I'm sure that's not what happened.
So for synopsis-wise, where does
So we start with the family. We get them set up. That's just me kind of identifying these characters real quick. So very quickly, the meteor hits. And when the meteor hits, the color freaks out throughout the house. The cute little boy, he sees the color as it crashes, and so he is instantly affected to the point where like he's in shock for a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
And the family is like worried. They're in the process of almost even taking him to the hospital to see what's happening. And he just snaps out of it. What's going on? And that performance that the little boy does, I think, is key to everyone else's craziness, because that is what starts to happen to all of the characters from that point forward.
Yeah, okay.
Everyone has a little moment of insanity that just, they look in the next scene and it's turned off. Okay. Especially the cage. And we're so used to him being bombastic, like in Mom and Dad, and I don't know, in every other crazy ass movie he's been doing, like where he just screams, right? Yeah. And in this, he's just kind of calm, and he's just trying to be that good dad. I'm gonna make the hokey old dinner for everybody.
Maybe Richard Stanley really had in his mind, like, I want Nicolas Cage, but my idea is to have him.
They got lucky by getting him. That was kind of I think Elijah Wood brought him in. Yeah. You know, I was hearing earlier, Elijah Wood wants to make every movie this guy makes from now on. Yeah. Hey, spend that money, Frodo. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And as the cage does kind of descend into madness, that he gets some of those moments, but the way he turns it off so quickly, just like a switch of the head, or like looking at something else, and takes him out of that. That's where you see some of Nicolas Cage's like classic, really good acting skills. You know, like I'm so used to him being this B-movie scream king at the moment, that this reminded me of why he won an Academy Award once. You know, and that's maybe kissing his dick a little bit too hard, because I am a Lovecraft and Cage fan. But so we'll let you all decide below if you think his performance was over the top and I'm insane. Smelling that Cage cocaine too hard. All right, so as soon as the thing crashes, you think they would call somebody like, hey, something's going on here. But no, the mayor shows up. And like news crews show up.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, I didn't call these people. I don't want people like freaking out. And you get this little story element that's not really important, that the mayor wanted to buy his property, but he didn't sell it. And so now she's like, in your face, she didn't sell me the property.
So he's just trying to make things just tough.
Like, she's trying to make things tough, and they want, like, we're going to have to bring down a specialist to look at this thing, you know, from the university in Miskatonic, which introduces reintroduces the character of Ward. Now, Ward is, initially, he's like a river surveyor, and he runs across Lavina, and he's just like, hey, what's up, babe? I'm this cool, suave black dude from the town, your city, and you're just this creepy witch in the woods. And she's like, get off my property, man! Like, just freaks out, but clearly is like,
oh no, Lovecraft, it's a black person.
Yeah, but there's none of that. Like, instead of it like, get off my property, it's like, maybe I'll fuck you. Like, there's a sexual tension there that I don't understand why it's there. Maybe it's to bring some kind of concern for the family later, but that all happens just naturally as Ward begins to investigate just the water around and the meteor, going like, there's something, like, your shit's contaminated around here. Don't be drinking any more of this water. And they're just like, huh? Gug, 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 gug. Like, they are the thirstiest bitches on Twitter or Instagram. So, very quickly, as they've found the meteor, by the next day, the meteor is shrinking in size. The stone boyfriend, or the stone brother, is like wanting to get over to the barn more and smoke more. And there's just, the mom starts to get a little bit wonky, and it's like, she's in there getting some dinner ready, sees the little flash of light from the outside, and next thing you know, she's carving up her hand.
Ooh.
Just chopping, like
Okay.
good chopping, too. It's like carrot, carrot, carrot. And you see it, it's built up like, oh, she's getting way too close to that finger. Way too close to that finger. Instead of like, oh, it's going to go to the tip. She'll clack right in the knuckle. And you're like, whoa! You just missed a lot of that carrot, lady. But, so they got to rush her to the hospital. So the Nick Cage like, the closest hospital is way up in Womp County. You know, another little Lovecraftian mention, but I don't want to tie it too close in case it doesn't get the trilogy Richard Stanley is praying and I'm praying for.
Oh.
Yeah, like this is a big, like he in the special features, like his hope is to create a trilogy.
Cool.
And not just a trilogy of like based on Colorado Space 2, but a Lovecraft trilogy. He wants to make the Lovecraft shared universe. Something that the Lovecraft fans would love. If this sells enough.
One of the original shared universes,
Yeah,
possibly.
it pretty much
I mean,
is.
there would be Charles Dickens, I think, would be. But
Just because he's made shit in London?
no,
Oh,
I
no,
think
because his
there's
stuff is a
characters.
little
There's
yeah,
characters.
Lovecraft famously let any writer who wanted to expand onto his mythology do it.
Yeah.
He wanted that to happen. And fingers crossed, they'll be able to make the Dunwich Horror. Ooh. And that's what he said next. He was looking up, Richard Stanley looking up in the hills, and we'll meet Laverno Whately. And I'm like, yeah! Because I can't wait to see what he can do with practical effects to Wilbur Whately. But that's a little off track here.
Yeah.
So as the mom and the Cage go off to get some hospital attention, it's an overnight kind of a deal. And throughout that night, the color just affects the children. And so it's going after their most vulnerable people in this
Now I'm thinking,
story.
are we going to start getting too much into spoilers? Should we just go into a review from here? Because it sounds like stuff.
Yeah, this is,
We got the setup, and it just gets more.
and it gets
crazy.
fantastic
Okay.
from there. So this is actually a great place to pause it,
Yeah,
because
that's what I was
once the
thinking.
color starts affecting the children, it's on like Donkey Kong. It doesn't stop.
Okay, so now let's do review.
And so if I was, straight up review of this,
Yeah.
this is the best Lovecraft adaptation that has been made so far. Nothing comes close to this. You have cosmic horror done in the way it should be done.
Yeah.
That it's unknowable. The more you know about it, the worse things become.
Okay.
And the color itself and the special effects that they were able to use to
It's mainly
kind of
practical,
character up.
right?
Mainly practical. The lighting.
Does it look like I think it's called a Gaio film, the 70s, kind of like Suspiria?
A
kind
little
of?
bit like
Okay,
that,
okay.
yeah. You can tell that the filters or whatever the apertures on the film are being messed with, and it is done in a very beautiful way. This movie only cost about $12 million and looks like it cost 30.
Oh,
It looks great. The house, which is the primary location, feels like a real place. It doesn't just feel like, oh, this is so and so's bedroom, and then we're gonna stay in the bedroom.
No, like the
You see good
you see
outside.
an outside shot, and then the inside's all inside of a studio.
Yeah, they go from different sides to the house. So you get the outside of the house. You get an idea of where their
Parasite,
barn is.
Parasite's like that, actually.
Okay.
Parasite's a lot like that. Knowing
Yeah.
where everybody is at all times, and the setup of the
It is
the
creating.
house.
It's taking this house that's like a.
It becomes its own character.
It creates a sinister aspect to it
Yeah.
because it starts off as very homely and very warm and welcoming, and as it begins to get photographed later with either close-ups or just a slight skew with some of the color added, it becomes very scary location, like just the house itself or the barn. And so that was great to be able to depict this color out of space like an alien color. That would be weird and terrifying, and they definitely succeed there. Practical effects. There is some awesome practical effects in this movie, from monsters to body horror. Oh, the things that happen later to the actress, to Joy Richardson, that was the most terrifying, sad thing I've ever seen happen to a character. To multiple characters, getting spoiler territory. But the effects are so good that I still can't believe they only spent $12 million on this, So the practical effects are good. The scares are good. The insanity, because it's insanity. You want to question why these characters are beginning to do this, but you know that they are crazy.
Yeah,
and they're doing stuff that they can't even control.
You understand
themselves.
the irrationality feels justified.
And there's a couple of surprises throughout the movie. One of the best surprises was Tommy Chong. You've got Tommy Chong playing this sort of old hippie squatter character on the property. And the family's just cool with him. because he's basically harmless, cool Esquire guy. You know,
does he come across okay, or does it start to
comes
feel
across
like stunt casting?
It doesn't feel like stunt casting. It's almost perfect casting. It's so perfect because you think, oh, this is this weird kind of hippie guy who's got these out there ideas about the universe and all that kind of stuff. And then as the movie's going, he doesn't become an exposition monkey either. When they go back to him, like, do you know anything else about it? And he's just like, you can see the insanity infecting him. And to see Tommy Chong dressed up like...
Oh, that feels like definitely like almost a HP Lovecraft trope a little bit there.
That's definitely
Which
the
is
weird,
good. That's
creepy
what we want.
old
We want
bum
the tropes
that
in this,
knows something he should know, and that was him.
You know, like in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, he's in Sonic the Hedgehog?
No, they just have a character.
Tommy Chong.
They have a character in Sonic who's like, the crazy blue guy in the woods, and everybody's like, what are you talking about? And he shows like, I drew a picture, and it's like one of those bad Sonic picture memes. It's really
That's pretty close to Tommy Chong's description of this movie too. He's got paint on all the time.
Sonic the Hedgehog, way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah. Just like this movie.
Okay.
You know, this movie, you go in, if you're a straight-to-video Lovecraft fan, you think, is this going to be like The Unnameable 2? Is this going to be like Dagon? Is this going to be some movie that the studio is shitting their fingers all over it? And you don't get that. This was definitely a movie that they gave to the director. The director put a signature on this movie that I think is so Richard Stanley. When you look at the color palettes,
he's not known for compromising with studios.
Yeah, not at all. That's why he ran off in the jungle.
Yeah.
Probably blew darts at Val Kilmer in the throat. You know, he gave him a cancer curse from the deep forest that Sean Connery's gonna later have to go look for. Right, but yeah, it is uncompromising in its vision. It is scary. It is weird, and that's what you want from a Lovecraft. I went in this thinking, I'm going to get some Cage craziness, I'm going to get some good little member berries from Lovecraft County, and instead I got the absolute best Lovecraft film that has ever been made. It is fucking great.
Okay.
I can't give it an A+, because I think the daughter character drags it down a little bit of... You got to build that family up so when shit happens to them, you feel bad for them.
Yeah.
And by focusing on the children, almost first, I mean... The wife gets the first real finger slice, but the kid is like listening to the well and he wants to make friends out of it, you know. So by going after the most vulnerable members of the family, it really creates this sense of dread going on, and you're scared. And the characters, when they're sane, make the kind of decisions sane people do. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's get in the car and drive the fuck out of here. And then horror movie tropes, that car is all colorized, so it can't do shit, right? And the color just, anything it touches, it affects mentally and physically. And by the way they were able to do that, was so Lovecraftian. I mean, you got your tentacles in this, you got your monsters with heads, too many heads and eyes, and it's barely witnessed, so it gives you that, oh my, what is going on here? And they don't explain it. And so now we're a little bit more into spoilerish territory.
Yeah, let's picking up on spoilers. I would say pick up like when you mentioned they're at the hospital and stuff starts to
kind of escalate. So what happens as soon as they get to you get to Nick Cage and his wife off screen. Mm-hmm. That's where I think Nick Cage did the best, is he gave everyone else in this movie a chance to do shit. Mm-hmm. It's not him going, I'm going to chew up all the scenery. Yeah. He is there as a dad. He feels like a dad. As the family unit's breaking down, he feels like he's making some dad decisions when he's sane, but not dad decisions when he's not. But as they're off doing that and off screen for maybe about 20 minutes, there's shit going on in the barn. The color is affecting stuff. The dog runs off to bark at the color in the woods, doesn't ever come back. The kids are starting to get really unnerved.
Now the color's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, the color begins to infect everything. Okay. So you're talking, it's around the trees. The grass is growing better. The vegetation is growing better. So it's definitely great. But Nick Cage, you know, farming up, brings all these big-ass tomatoes in, eats them, and they're all tastes like shit because the color's affecting it in an alien way, not in a healthy way. Mm-hmm. And so the kids are starting to have the same thing. This, you know, he's tasked with just put the llamas in the fucking place. Right? And for some reason, Lavina's got this big white horse that she rides. I don't get that at all, other than to like, look at the cool druid on her white horse. That's what it felt like. But in this stable barn area, the llamas keep getting out constantly. They keep going over to the well and eating all this like purple flower, purpley pink flower. That's why I like, it's like the color isn't quite pink or purple. It's this cool fuchsia lilac in the middle. you know, and it morphs a little bit. So you get blues in there a little bit. You get
It's almost like the Mandy coloring.
a little bit like that. I think that's probably what inspired them to go, we can make this color, because we were able to do that with the palette and Mandy.
Yeah.
And that even harkens back to Hardwired. Hardwired has a very yellowish orange palette because it's in this desert wasteland area. And so you get that kind of infusion of color being a character in both of Stanley's films so far. And so the kids they're like, something's wrong. By the time mom and dad get home, the kids are already now losing their minds. Okay, the boy, he's like constantly wanting to talk to his friends in the well. The older kid, the smoker, he can't even smoke anymore, basically, because every time he goes to smoke, the llamas seem to be getting out or something like that. So he's just like, I gotta get out of here, you know. And so as soon as Nick Cage gets back with mom, they're like, we gotta leave, and they're like, what are you kids doing? You just fuck off the whole time we're gone? So they get this kind of natural reaction, like, he didn't do shit. He's all over here, like, playing in the well. Did you even give him his breakfast today? So there's like a parental response. But on the drive home, like, I think this is a little Nick Cage moment. He starts singing some song to the radio, maybe a little bit too much Elvis jerky, you know, and some kind of throwback. But you get the sense that he did this with the wife character, because she kind of laughs a little bit, and you're like, okay, maybe this is kind of their thing.
Okay. Like that's a little bit of a bonding
moment, yeah. But there's definitely, you know, they tell you, oh, luckily they were able to save the finger. Right, so that explains any missed shots later with fingers, right? Though she's taped up for the rest of the movie, so you didn't have to worry about that. But very quickly, once they get home, they start getting the aggression against the kids becomes like heightened, because they're mad that the kids seem to have fucked off while they were gone overnight. But their responses are too mad. Like, Nick Cage is like literally, you little bitch, to his daughter, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And you get the idea that it's out of place, because in the next scene he'll be looking over at his wife and like, oh, hi, honey, da, da. Like, he just, it seems like something's off. And that's what I like, is that the characters just, from that point on, I mean, once they left initially for the hospital, they are, something is up. The color begins to mutate shit in the family. Like, you find out that the llamas now are all tentacle monstered up in the garage. They're just melded together.
So at that point, there's like a hard cut of like, now the effects are coming.
Oh yeah, once they get back to that, shit is just kicked on.
Okay.
You know, you have some cut scenes over to like Ward going like, oh man, the water is contaminated. I gotta go check out some more stuff. And you go back to the farm, and then like really crazy responses from them. They're like, oh, I gotta go find Tommy Chong in the woods. Tommy Chong's like, we live out here, but they live out there. And now we're in here, and we're out there. And you're like, yeah, he's totally chonging it up. So this could be a high person or a fucking crazy person. And you get that sense. And it's so, the escalation just keeps going to where the dog, you find, you know, this color, once it does its thing, it'll mutate. And so it mutates the llamas into this horrific thing in the garage. That you find the dog is horribly mutated at some point to where they're like, what do we do? And then the big moment, I think, of this film is when you see the little boy going towards the color, and the mom's like, no, and she runs out to like save him, and the color grabs them both and mutates them both together. And from that moment on, they are this sludge tentacle monster with this poor little kid's head coming out of the actress's neck, and he's just like, and crying, but he can't because he's in pain. And Nick Cage just swoops on, it's my baby, I gotta take him inside. Because he's losing his mind. Like, this is a monster now. Yeah. And they're like, we gotta see if she's okay. And like, we'll take turns feeding mom. And Nick Cage is like, I gotta keep my family together, you know?
Like cemetery.
A little crazy. And now Nick Cage is even fucking getting mutated. His whole arm is starting to crack open like one of them leopard dudes from Game of Thrones, right? And he's just constantly scratching. So the rest of the movie, he throws little ticks, even when he's kind of like, I don't know what's going on. Lavina, where's your son? The scratching just keeps coming. And everything is just adds to the menace, you know? And watching the mutated mom-boy thing, it was grotesque. Yeah. It was so well done with the special, or the makeup effects. And it is sad because the little cute boy character is the one that gets in there. So they took literally the most vulnerable character, the kid, and fucked him up.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like these characters, there's not like
there ain't no coming back from it. It's not like they're like, let's just get some fucking Neosporin on that.
Well, they don't. It sounds like they don't do the thing of like, well, this person's a jerk, so you're not gonna feel that bad.
Yeah, there's no jerk character in the movie other than the mayor who just never comes back.
This is just like a complete tragedy.
Yeah, and that's where it comes in. It's the cosmic horror. Like, why is this happening to these people who do not deserve this, right? Especially the mom and the boy. And then Nick Cage has got to this point where I have to kill her. You know, he brings a shotgun up to kill his wife. He can't quite do it. And he's like, no, I gotta keep the family together. Gotta feed her. I'm gonna feed her that dirty witch daughter of mine, stupid bitch. You know, grabs the daughter, throws him in the, because daughter's staying around too, because she's like, I gotta go through this Simon's version of the Necronomicon and see if these little Babylonian spells are gonna help me. When it shouldn't. It should have been.
It kept a weird thing where like he doesn't care for his daughter
because he was mad now. Once he got pissed at her, it became this animosity that was over the top. Yeah, it's like he would get more and more mad at her. And it doesn't explain very much why, other than something's happening to him. But he would flip out of it and be like, are you okay? Did you eat? And you're like, does he love his daughter or do he hate her? What the fuck just happened? But the flips are so quick and so well done in the face that Nick Cage becomes a different character in those moments. And, man, the special effects on that mom-son thing. So he goes to kill it, can't. Gotta feed Lavina to it. At this point, Ward is like, okay, shit is really off the chain. I gotta go get the sheriff or something, you know, because I went to the house and they're acting super crazy over there. Go and try to get the sheriff back. They're like, they go to the house, like, yeah, they walk in, Nick Cage is sitting there in the living room talking to the family, and they're like, not in the room. And it's like, where's Lavina? Oh, she's right there, right there on the couch. Oh, we love this movie. Just watching, like, snow on the TV, and so he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
At this point, Nick Cage is crazy, just shaking on the couch, and they're like, okay, let's go upstairs, because we hear a scream and a thud. That's always great in a Lovecraft story. They kick open the door, you know, action movie style. Lavina's still sitting there on the floor, a little bit of blood on her, so you don't know what's going on. Next thing you know, mom-son thing is a gigantic killer spider mom-son thing, and this is rushing him, you know, goes to kills the sheriff all fast.
This is all like practical effects with maybe some CGI enhancing it.
Maybe some. It looks like really,
How would you
really
compare
good.
it to like The Thing? I know that's some years ago, but
it reminds me of that in a way. It has that same kind of squiggly stuff. Like it doesn't show the entire monsters at one moment, so you can see silhouettes and little pieces.
The Thing, but less dated, maybe. If that makes sense.
I would say that the effects, the practical effects, are great for monsters. These are the scariest and coolest looking monsters I've seen in a movie for a long time, and the most unnameable. I mean, it's hard for me even to just. That's what you want to Lovecraft. I can barely describe this mom-son thing, you know, other than it's like got spider legs, maybe some tentacles, too many eyeballs, you know, and it rushes them. They're like, holy shit, they get the fuck out of there, right? 'Cause what else
I like
can
the
you do?
idea of, you mentioned the face kind of being in another direction, so it's
Yeah,
less
it's
like you usually
completely
see
opposite.
where it's like only partially looking separate or to the side, but having it so unnaturally.
And it feels like there's still two distinct beings on there, because when they close up on the mom, who's like kind of making it through the first few stages of this transformation, they get to the son, and he's just like, blah, 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 fucking.
Does it do like a pan around?
Yeah, they're just like, here's your face,
Okay.
and they just kind of move the camera over a little bit. So it's not even a pan around, they just go a little over, and
I
you're
was
like,
imagining
oh,
a hero
shit.
shot.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Linda Carter spinning and whatnot. But gets to that point where Nick Cage is like, she's not my family. Comes in and blam, and blasts her to, like, I think maybe save the cop and Ward. I'm unfamiliar. I'm trying to remember right now if the sheriff got killed, because that's combining with another movie, Creepshow episode we watched, where a similar creature did that to the sheriff. So I think the sheriff might actually have gotten off on this, right? Because Cage, boom, blows her off. She's not my wife no more. My wife downstairs watching television, right? And then so he's running downstairs, goes back at this point. The color is starting to get super vibrant outside, and Ward and the sheriff are like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And they're like, come on, Lavina, come with us. She's like, no, my dad's still here. I love my dad. You know, and then they all go back in the house, and that's boom, the end of the movie. Right? Or no, they do go, when they go back to the fucking Chong to find him one more time, he's straight up mutated in his chairs too. He's all fucked up, and he's got the little tape recording playing this last words where he's like, the color, it's the color. Yeah. So you get that cool, like how Lovecraft would often end his stories with like, it's coming up the stairs. Like, who's doing that?
Yeah.
If people are after me, I'm not going to sit down and write what's cracking.
Yeah.
You know, Lovecraft was a little ahead of his time because people would have been vlogging that shit, running with their Facebook Live going, and that it's like a perfect ending. It's nothing good happens.
Yeah.
These poor family gets just uber ganked by the color out of space, and it's not explained. It perhaps is resolved. If you know the story, the color when it shoots back into space in the Lovecraft story leaves a little seed behind so that he could grow again, right? And that's the end of this film, and it is just done masterfully. As far as Lovecraft, like I said, this is the best Lovecraft movie I've ever seen. Please, Elijah Wood, murder any orcs you have to get some gold to get that trilogy off the ground. People appreciate this movie. Yeah, Nick Cage has probably soured you the last couple of years with some missteps like the Humanity Bureau or
I don't even
fucking that like not Three from Hell, but he did another movie where he's like From Hell, but not the Drive movie.
Oh.
So he's
Drive Angry.
Yeah, Drive Angry was. That's what I'm talking about. That's
yeah.
He did some other piece of shit movie last year where he thinks like a Vengeful Spirit or something like that. But these movies where he's gone over the top, maybe the audience has checked out a little bit on him. Do yourself a favor, check back in, because the Cage is wonderful in this movie. It's like a family movie gone wrong. Like the dad was trying to keep his family together. You know, like that old one he did with...
Somebody recut a trailer as like one of those dog films.
Yeah.
Like A Dog's Journey.
Or just like when a father learns that the true wealth in his life is his family. You know, it's like one of those.
Ooh,
you know?
I wonder if I could download the trailer and try and recut an iMovie, because they got these like iMovie templates.
But
so yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. I'm sure not going to get to it, but man, that's a great idea.
Check in, grab this movie on its streaming platforms. You're stuck inside with the coronavirus anyway, so might as well let the color from out of space fuck your mind up a little bit too. Solid B+ is my end result on this thing. It is not just one of the best Cage performances I've seen in a long time, but it is one of the better horror movies I've seen in a long time.
So it sounds like a solid B+ in a way, like if you actually like those type of films in particular, that can really bring it to an A+ to certain people.
I think so. Yeah. I think some people are going to go, this is the best.
Because like, I like zombie stuff kind of to a fault, so usually I like it more than it actually is. But at the same time, I also hate bad zombie stuff like Z Nation.
Yeah, and I'm the same way with Lovecraft. I've been waiting since I was a small child to see Lovecraft done right, and this is done right. I can't imagine anybody being able to do this better than Richard Stanley did it. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece of horror cinema. It is destined to be a cult classic.
I put that in the thumbnail, Lovecraft done right.
Yeah, it's Lovecraft done right. So, hope we didn't spoil too much of the movie for you. If you're a fan of Lovecraft, I couldn't have spoiled it anyway because you've read the story.
Yeah.
Shit, if you play Dungeons & Dragons, Color Out of Space is in there now. So grab your Demogorgon miniatures, you know, get a couple glasses of old milk. Just check into this movie. It is phenomenal.
And past that time while everybody's in quarantine.
Yeah. It's and it's quick. It's a $1.30, that whole movie.
Oh, yeah. That's
90 minutes, man, right on the dot. They could have put 5 films of this in the theater per day, and they probably put 1 per day because it just didn't have that money behind it for distribution.
Yeah.
You probably didn't see any commercials other than our trailer reaction, which is a disservice because this thing is awesome. And all you Redbox haters out there who thought you were getting like Con Air 4, go fuck yourselves. All right.
I wonder if we can get an image of the Redbox rating. See if they have an online site I can do a screenshot of.
All you gotta do is you scroll through Redbox and you think, oh, this is drivel, and then you go to Rotten Tomatoes and you're seeing cats like Richard Roper giving this A+. I'm talking, this is up there. Critics are like, this is good. The audience, almost everybody who's legit giving this movie a review, not just some haters. It's up there. The people who don't like this movie, they don't get it. It's one of those. So don't be stupid. Check this movie out. Be smarter for it. Other than me whimpering to Elijah, I suck your dick. Get the trilogy. You know.
All right. Well, thank you for
I'm
joining
Robert
us.
Gresham.
Sinclair Thompson, Legal Priest. Hopefully this comes up pretty soon. I'm gonna try and get on it with the editing, and don't let spoilers ruin your life.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the Underhold.